Welcome to Hero Power. Gotta love live TV. I am your host, Avantes, and this is episode 82. And as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
What is up, gang?
And Versika. And now Versika's muted.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo. Microphones. Work.
And we have a very special guest this week. We kind of teased it to you guys last week at the end of the show, but we are joined, and we are super glad to be joined by Andrew from the Happy Hearthstone. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, but I'll tell you why I'm doing better. Because I love that intro music.
That's right?
Yeah.
It's so good, man.
What have I been saying?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, we've got a great show lined up for you guys. We actually have a lot to talk about this week. Not only do we have Andrew on the show with us, there was a good bit of news to touch on, and then Andrew sent in a great Paladin deck. I'm like 5-1 with it so far when I've gotten to have a chance to play, so I'm super excited.
Real.
Yeah, I can't wait to show it to you guys here in a little while. But first, I'm going to actually do the Viforce bumper this week, Versika, if that's all right.
What is happening?
I know,
it's
right?
Zeroshio
We're
is
on
quiet.
Thursday, everybody.
For us. It's on a Thursday. What's going on?
The whole world's gone mad. All right. Well, we actually got an email from a listener, McNuggets. Love your name. His email said, "Can the Viforce Element computer run Overwatch or Tabletop Simulator on medium to high graphics? And can it be easily upgraded later? Thanks a lot. Love the podcast." So, McNuggets, I actually reached out to Viforce to get you your answer. And as they stated, as for Overwatch, it has not been tested on the Element. If it can play it, it would probably only be on low. As for Tabletop Simulator, if it's the one found on Steam, yes, the Element can play it on high. As for upgradability, the CPU for that machine is close to the maximum for its particular chipset. Just about everything else can be upgraded, although it's better priced for performance and upgradability if you are upgrading to just go ahead and get the Vector and downgrade it. He says this is currently the case because of the Pascal series GPU that came out last year, and whenever the Ryzen APUs come out near the end of this year is when you should see a good jump in the Element's overall performance for supposedly less power consumption. Also, they say your best bet is to just kind of put in a custom order, and so they can trim the fat in any build. And as far as playing Overwatch, you're probably looking at, they're saying somewhere between 540 to 560 as close as of an answer that they can give you at this time. But just go to viforcegaming.com, click on the computers, and you should be able, there should be a box there for questions. You can shoot them an email and do a custom build, and they can give you all the answers you need specifically for you as to what you need to get that up and running. So, thank you for your email. Now, we do have a couple other emails we need to get to real quick. The first one is a reply to an email we got last week. You guys might remember Jake from North Carolina had emailed asking about fireside gatherings. This week he says, "Thank you for the advice. Sorry I missed the stream. I watched it later, though. I think my best bet will be to get with some of my local card shops and speak to their owners and see what they're willing to do." Absolutely, Jake. That's what we did when we got started doing fireside gatherings. Just go out, talk to your local card shops, tell them, that you're just looking for somewhere to host a fireside gathering, which is a digital card game gathering, and talk to them a little bit about what Hearthstone is, and see if they'll let you use their space. Never hurts to ask. All they can do is say no. So
That's right.
Okay, and then our last email this week, and I'm going to go around the group after I read this and let everybody give their thoughts on this. Says, "Hey guys, I was listening to the show and you got me thinking about ways Blizzard could ease the price of the game without giving away too much. Here are my suggestions. Number 1, offer daily rewards consistently. Like, start with 10 gold a day and then have a big reward at the end of the month. 2, offer free arena runs or offer a quest that gives you a free arena run. 3, offer more quests that give out packs other than the classic set. 4, offer quests or rewards that give out wild packs that are not available in the store. 5, offer different kinds of bundles in the store, sort of like Heroes does. 6, offer packs as rewards to winners and participants in firesides. An example, once a month you can receive the Fireside reward. Maybe each participant gets a couple of packs for playing, and then the winner receives bonus packs." He says, "To be honest, getting 5 to 10 free packs a month, or 20 to 40 per cycle if you do everything, is still not a lot." He says, "I got 120 packs via gold and money. I also received at least 20 packs from arenas, and I still don't have all the cards from Ngoro. What do you guys think? Desharmo." So thank you for the email, Desharmo. Versika, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on Desharmo's email about how Blizzard could ease the price of the game?
Okay, so first step, unmute the mic. No, so I thought about this question a lot, and you'd actually, we'd spoken about this email on Monday. So I started looking at it, and I think one of the key elements to really consider when you're considering this argument is in the dangers of comparing it to games like Heroes and Overwatch, is that Hearthstone doesn't have a lot of overhead as far as constantly needing to be updated and patched, and it's like from the technical side, games like WoW, Overwatch, Heroes, you're in constant balance change mode. You're constantly getting players that hit the server, and from a sheer technology standpoint, it takes more to run those games. So you really need to entice players into spending that money. With Hearthstone, your money really is spent on the front side of the game. So whereas games like Overwatch and Heroes, once the skins are created for the characters, they're digitized in and they're there. With Hearthstone, you're constantly creating art for the next set. So when even this set comes out, you still have artists on staff who are still drawing art for cards that haven't even really been fleshed out yet. So it's hard to trim the fat, so to say, on that, because that art is part of the beauty of Hearthstone and what really drives people, I feel like, to collect those cards. So, where do you trim that fat with Hearthstone to still make money? Because I mean, let's face it, Blizzard is a business; it's got to be profitable. And if we want Hearthstone to be the kind of game that we all want it to be, which is great, long life, great balance, and Blizzard investing time and energy into creating a thriving professional and esports environment, it has to make money. So you've got to pay everybody and you've got to make money. I feel like they've already addressed some of that with going to 3 actual expansions a year and cutting out the adventures, because the adventures, it was a lot of time and art and storytelling on the front end. And really, when you think about it, you really got a bang for your buck, the amount that you spend on the cards. So by offering that expansion, you now have 3 real significant income sources a year instead of 2. So I think that will help, and I think you will start to see a few more freebies come from Blizzard. I do think that there needs to be a little more attention paid to the daily quests in Hearthstone so that they feel less grindy. And I think that they started to address that by opening up the quest a little bit more, but I don't know if they were able to succeed in what they were working for. I don't think people were wanting necessarily more gold or to spend the same amount of time doing the same quest they were. I think they were looking for something that might allow them to come in, get a little bit of a reward, but then get over to play the game the way that they wanted to play it. So I think there's still some room for improvement in the daily quest arena, but there's also some underlying features as far as like getting free packs from Blizzard. There's some limitations as far as like what an account can receive as far as free packs go. I don't know what that is, and I don't even know if it's still relevant. I know at one point it was a set number, and I'm not sure if that is still.
It used to be 15 packs from outside the game that
right.
each account could receive.
If I'm not mistaken, that number was increased, but I don't know if it was recapped. So that may be worth investigating. But I think that with that being the case, you don't want to use all your free packs on just classic packs from Firesides. You want to have that option out there, even though, like, let's face it, if there's 6 cookies in the cookie jar and you've got a year to eat them, how long are those 6 cookies really going to last? They're probably going to be gone in a month. So, I mean, if you've got so many packs that you can cap out at, you're probably going to cap that out sooner rather than later. And then, you know, who's to say in December they don't come up with some other thing that you get in with this contest and you get so many free packs from outside the game and it's the new expansion and you've already used yours and your account's locked. So, I mean, there's other variables that come into play there. So I've talked quite a bit on this. I'll let you guys hit the other ones. But
first off, I don't know how you eat your cookies, but mine are by the dozen.
A month is a long time for 6 cookies. I
mean,
yeah.
All
maybe
right.
like 10
so
minutes.
the analogy worked.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Andrew, let's move to you next. What are your thoughts on how Blizzard could alleviate some of the financial woes of players?
Sure. I've got 2 quick thoughts. One, so an overarching thought to kind of go with Versika on that. I think that this game, you know, you do need to put money into it because they need to be able to produce a game. If everyone is free to play, they would cut it out and it wouldn't exist. Now I started a podcast on Villains Chosen with the budget-minded players, so I get that not all of us just have unending amounts of money. So I do think that there are some things they can do to help, because especially with Journey to Un'Goro, they did something amazing by coming up with an entirely new kind of card with the quest card. But everyone was upset all of a sudden, and I think for good reason, because everyone got hyped for these cards, but they're extremely difficult to get, and you have to sink a lot of money into dust or packs or something. So my first thought is that they need to continue to innovate and come up with new cards like that, but they also need to recognize that if everyone's hyped about something like that, there has to be some kind of barrier to entry. And I mentioned this during our Journey to Un'Goro episodes on Happy Hearthstone, that I would have loved it if they had said, hey, with your pre-order, we're going to give you a guaranteed 1 quest card, because we're so excited about this mechanic. We know you're going to love it. And I think something like that encourages people to invest in something that makes a lot of sense and is a fair deal, but it also gives them, you know, something on top of that. And the second thing is in conjunction with other games that they have. You know, Overwatch just released their Overwatch Anniversary event, which is really exciting, lots of fun. I think that these other games have gotten those kinds of events that have a good rollout of bonus content really well, and Hearthstone has yet to really hit that. I don't think it needs to look exactly like those, but I would love to see some kind of promotional events where you can earn more packs than usual. Maybe it's every 2 wins on the ladder that you're going to get 50 gold instead of 10 gold or something like that. But just something to encourage people to jump into the game and play and kind of ease off the grinding that you have to do just for limited amounts of time. And I think that you'd see a lot of participation, a lot more people playing, and hence more money coming in for them, which is a good thing in the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Zeroshio, what are your thoughts?
My big point that Andrew hit on is, and I preach this all the time, Blizzard, from the beginning, while they're very generous, they are a business, and they need to make money. The freebies are great. I think they've done fine with free content. They give us 3 packs here, a pack there. You know, there was that whole event before on Un'Goro where we got gold, dust, and packs. I think that they're in a good spot right now. Now, Ben Bro did make a comment on Reddit stating that he doesn't like the idea of like those daily reward type in mobile games because it's almost like it's a chore just to log in. They don't want you just to pull up your phone, pull up Hearthstone, click your reward, and then close the app. They want you to go into Hearthstone, play a game, play 3 games, get your 10 gold for 3 games, get your brawl pack. They want you to actively play. And if you look at games like Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm, they're the same way. You get your bonuses for so many wins. You get your bonuses for the weekly brawls you have to play in. It's not just for going in the game. You get something free and then you pop out. They want you to play the game. And I think they're doing just fine. I don't think we need more free things. I mean, I like free stuff. It's nice. But at the same time, I've not been unhappy with the freebies they sent us. Now, to touch on the feeling that Andrew was mentioning about Ungoro, a lot of people didn't like that they seemed like they had more legendaries they had to craft in Ungoro. It's not that there were more legendaries. There were just as many legendaries as other sets, except each class had 2 legendaries, and there were less bad legendaries. So really you're complaining that, or not Andrew specifically, but like people that have this argument.
Thanks for that.
You're complaining that Blizzard put out a better set with better quality cards, so I'm mad that I have to craft them. I don't see that as a problem. I see that as a good thing. Plus, what collectible card came out there that has ever existed? Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon has somebody that isn't on the very top end of the pro scene gotten every single card that exists.
Yeah.
I mean, most casual or even some of your hardcore casual to competitive players that go to the occasional Pro Tour qualifier or the Friday night Magic tournaments, they don't have all the cards. They might have all the cards they need for their decks, but they don't have all the cards.
Okay, sure. So go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I agree with you. So to take it to an extreme example, let's say the next expansion that they come out with is 500 legendary cards, right? Everybody would be upset about that, regardless of if 400 of them are really, really good, you know? Like, so that's not where we're at. But the question is, where's the line, you know? And I think that they obviously went more towards that, and people got just uncomfortable with it because it was different. But they'll keep reassessing and making it.
They didn't make more. It looks like they made more legendaries because there's
oh right, they downed
more usable.
Yeah.
I think there were only 5 neutral legendaries at all in the whole set. Am I correct in that? 5 or 6?
Yeah, something like that.
And what normally happens in sets is there's 1 legendary per class, and then the rest of the 22 to 23 legendaries in the set are all neutral. Well, in this case, they had 1 legendary minion and 1 legendary quest, which everybody wanted the quests, and most of the legendary minions from each class are playable. So you're not going to have trash legendaries that you don't craft. I'm looking at my Ungoro collection, and there's only like maybe 4, possibly 5 legendaries that I really don't think I need. That's a lot less than normal. Normally, there's like 7 or 8 at least.
So there's a good conversation going on in our chat right now. Let me ask you guys the question that they're talking about. Do you feel like they should increase the amount of dust you get off cards? Or do you feel like that's in a good spot? So chat's saying, you know, maybe if you got half of the amount of dust back that it costs to craft a card, as opposed to like the quarter or whatever it is that we're getting now. So instead of saying you dust a legendary for 400 dust, you get 800 dust.
I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't think it's needed, because I think the quarter ratio has worked. The only reason it's not working now is because we have better quality cards. And if you look at past sets, epics were like trash. I mean, you didn't even want to craft epics because there were no good epics, and you hated seeing them in arena because epics they weren't even as strong as rares. They were like they were good in specific decks and specific situations. Well, now they've made epic cards that are actually really good and playable in multiple decks.
Okay.
I think that the big thing that needs to get fixed is the dust you get off duplicate legendaries, because that never feels good.
No,
So
it
it's
doesn't.
true.
I agree.
If they could fix that, then I would be happy about dust.
Okay.
Actually,
Maybe-
I think that was brought up. Like, if you have a duplicate card and you're dusting the duplicate card, you get half. So let's say that you max out at 2 and you're on card number 3, then maybe that triggers something in the algorithm to give you a little more dust for that, because then it's not just wasted.
So kind of like what Heroes is doing now. If you get a duplicate, instead of you going in and having to disenchant it, it automatically puts up duplicate in the dust amount that you receive.
Right. And it assigns that dust to you instead of... That way they don't have to necessarily go in and change the way the amount works.
I think that'll be good, but I guarantee you'll have somebody on Reddit complaining, well, what if I want to save them, so if they nerf that card, I get full value? You know, you're going to have somebody having a... That's really my point, is somebody's always going to complain about something.
Reddit.
I do think if you did give maybe half value for legendaries, but kept it at a quarter for the epics, rare, and commons, that might be fine. It does feel bad getting a duplicate legendary, or maybe a reroll system. I think I've heard that on other podcasts.
Okay, while we're on this topic, I'm going to jump over the iTunes review. I'll come back to it. This past weekend, May 20th, we all got a free card. You know, we were talking about all the free stuff, and Blizzard gave everybody who logged in on Saturday, May the 20th, a free card. Now, as we were talking about, somebody somewhere is going to complain. It was an epic, and everybody's like, "Oh yay!" You know, dust because
I got an unplayable epic. That's all you heard on Reddit was, "Great, thanks, Blizz. You got me a card I can't even play because it's a trash epic."
Which, by the way, can we just think for a moment that maybe Blizzard knew people would be upset and memed them ahead of time by giving them a card called Fight Promoter? I'm just saying.
Oh my! I didn't even think about that.
Oh, so I see how it is. You throw him under the bus, and then you're lifting him up. So you see how this works. You see how working with Zoroshio works. You get thrown under the bus. He backs over you, and then he's like, "Oh, but you know what? That was a great idea. Let me hold you up here a little bit."
Now, Boyd in chat says, and I'm interested in this too. He says, "I'm interested in the stats for Free Card Day. It would be interesting to know how many people logged in and claimed the card, and then it would also be interesting to know how many people immediately dusted the card."
I did.
Okay.
Because I immediately dust anything I have extra, or if it's golden, and either it's an extra golden or a card that I don't think I'll use, because I do like playing in tournaments. I play in a league, and that dust is very valuable to me.
Matt at Arms says it is playable. It is a solid card in a deck that doesn't exist.
It's true.
True. And
So-
who knows?
I
We still
actually
got
didn't
plenty
have
more
the card.
extensions.
So,
And Fight Promoter was usable at one point. When it first came out, people were using it in various buff decks.
yep.
Again, nobody played buff decks, but the buff decks that were played did have Fight Promoter in
Yeah.
it.
So, do you think this signifies any possible future freebies from Team 5?
I do. I don't think it's going to be like a permanent freebie, like people are wanting like a daily reward. I think this is something that we'll do regularly.
And Bembro said he just wanted to try it out and see how it does. So they do have the stats on Free Card Day, and they will make plans.
So here's my question on this. Do you think they time this stuff up? There's a certain time of day where they all get all the chairs in the conference room, and they all get popcorn, and they just put Reddit up on the screen, and then he hits send tweet, or they post the blog, and they just sit there with popcorn waiting for Reddit.
So I want to point out, you know, I've said a couple of times on the show, I've actually been to Blizzard headquarters. I have seen the Global Network Operations Center. Yes, they do things like that. They monitor social media. They monitor global logins. They know what's going on in the communities.
No, but importantly, do they eat popcorn and drink sodas
Oh,
while they do it?
Probably not. But yeah, they
So
know
I
what's
get
going
this,
on.
I get this mental image of like John Woo and Ben Brode sitting in a situation room, and like, you know, they've got the microphone and the glass table in front of them, and someone calls in. The Twitter post is about to hit T minus 20 seconds, and they're just sitting there, and they have their fingers on their chin, and they're leaned back in their chair, and they got this army of support staff down the table, and they see it hit, and they're watching it like, you know, the night vision.
Okay, have you watched the 1 year anniversary video they put out for Overwatch?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Did you see when Overwatch was getting ready to go live? They were all sitting around a table with their fingers on their chins, going, "All right, it's live in all areas. Let's watch it." That's exactly what Blizzard does.
That's awesome.
You know what? I've not seen that video yet, but I'm looking at it now.
I want the job of just staring at Twitter and Reddit all day and just shaking my head.
Where was it?
I'll have to find it for you after the show. All right. So let's jump back now to our iTunes review. It was a 5-star from Stray Dog, and Stray Dog says, "Download, listen, learn, repeat. Simple. Podcast is great, but the live show and play portion are even better. Always fun times." Thank you, Stray Dog. We greatly appreciate the 5-star review. You know, guys, we love to hear from everybody in the community, so thank you so much.
And I want to give a personal thank you again to Stray Dog's daughter, because he's left us a review before, and he hijacked his daughter's iTunes account and gave us another review. So thank you, thank you, Stray Dog's daughter. We really appreciate it.
Hey, so real quick before we move on, I was looking for this said video we were talking about for just a second, and you know, maybe some of what Ducharmo was saying, which, by the way, I feel like we may have jumped on that a little harder than we intended. Like, there's definite room for improvement on Hearthstone's, their ability to make the Hearthstone players feel a little more appreciated. But like, Heroes of the Storm is having their 2nd anniversary, and this just reminded me of it. So the week of May 30th through June 12th, you get to log in. Now, that's 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, you get to log in with a daily quest of play 1 game in versus AI quick match, unranked, ranked, and you receive a loot chest every day. A common
loot chest.
And then, you know, once you play 3 games, then you get the portrait spray, the banner. Now, they don't have the portraits and sprays and banner, but I mean, for their anniversary, what would have been the hurt for 5 days of logging in, playing a couple of matches, and maybe earning some packs or earning some special card backs or something like that they could have done as a course of several days, rather than offering a one free card on the 1 day that you log in for the anniversary.
Well, they did do something like this before the release of Ungoro, where every day you got various packs, dust, gold, and as it got closer, you actually got Ungoro packs that you couldn't open yet until that release a few days later. So they've done stuff like this in Hearthstone, not for a year of the anniversary, but Hearthstone also is planning to release 3 sets this year. So it could possibly be we'll see something like this before every set.
Yeah, just bringing it up.
Oh yeah, I agree. And
I mean, I'm looking at it from the perception of, if you were looking at other games and then you look at Hearthstone,
and certainly
it looks like they're falling behind on that.
And certainly Blizzard players play multiple games, or I'm sure you got many listeners who are solely Hearthstone players, but I would be willing to bet that most of us have at least tried other Blizzard games, if not really enjoy or are dedicated to them. And here's the only other thing I'll throw out is that Blizzard is a good company, right?
Oh, yeah.
My dad reminds me all the time, because he has Activision Blizzard stock, that they're doing really well. Mm-hmm. It is no mistake that Hearthstone is making the choices that they are on purpose. And I would be willing to bet it's because it is kind of a cash cow for them. And as long as things are going well, they're probably not going to think that there's any sirens going off or anything that they have to change immediately. So I hate to say that we're at fault for it, but there's some Hearthstone players out there that are dropping $200 a week who maybe need to stop in order for us to get more free stuff, or for any of the of it to change, really.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up a point that Blizzard is doing a good job, but you also have to remember a lot of these choices for freebies and giveaways, anything that basically says, here is a monetary value item that we're giving you for free. Sometimes that's not in the decisive hands of Team 5, and possibly not even Ben Prode. There could be a marketing department and shareholder meetings that say, hey, you need to cut back on freebies until you hit this mark in sales. And so a lot of these things aren't always on the people that make the game. They're on, the marketing department and the Blizzard Entertainment, accounting departments that say, okay, now you can give this much in free value. Okay, we've gotten this much in sales. We can up the mark a little bit. I'm sure, and most companies, I've worked for companies that gave out free things to their customers. Sometimes you do that based on what the sales were for that quarter. So basically, you're rewarding your players for putting money into the game.
Yeah, well, I know we've kind of bled over into the first topic of news. Well, then that's for our listeners. That is why we're allowing ourselves to talk so much on this email, is because it actually was a topic that we were going to be bringing up. So I've got one more thing, and then I'm going to shut up about it. So one of the things that Ducharmo and our friend over at Legend of the Innkeeper, Espo, are very passionate about is the barrier of entry for a new player. So let's say that you're just getting into Hearthstone. You don't really know if this is something that you're going to invest a lot of time and money in. The barrier to entry at this point in Hearthstone, even with the standard rotation out, is still pretty significant. Especially when you've got competitors like Gwent coming along. So at one point they offered that starter bundle, but it's a one-time thing. You can only do it once, and it's the only one they offer. So maybe instead of offering a ton of free stuff to players that just keep playing and have significant collections and it's a daily login thing, maybe you specifically target the barrier of entry for newer players, and you make it more of a progression along the way in a way to not only like attract and keep them interested in the game, but to allow them to feel real progress when they enter what is still a very brutal ladder ranked system. And I'm talking this too I have a free to play account on the Europe servers, and I can tell you that over the last year, where standard was supposed to kind of ease that burden on newer players getting in for card collections, it's actually gotten harder to ladder with that free to play account on the European servers. Much harder than it was the year prior. So maybe that's something that they can look at, not necessarily giving out freebies to existing players that are already spending money and doing well in Hearthstone, but kind of focusing on that not brand new player, but sort of that novice player that is still trying to make that progression from novice into more of a seasoned player.
Okay. Yeah, and to kind of touch on that a little bit, and this was brought up on
Make it quick. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Oh, I know. Vastidius mentioned that most people kind of made a rotation of every 3 to 4 months. They'd spend $50 to $60 on a new console game. If they want Hearthstone to be one of their full-time games, it's not unrealistic for maybe every 3 or 4 months to spend $40, $50 on this game. Again, I understand the new player experience, wanting them to come get the barrier of entry, see if they like it, dip their toes in the water. I think that the way it is fine. However, just because I think a lot of people get mixed up, new players does not mean free-to-play players. Just because you're new doesn't mean you should be given everything for free. I understand getting your feet wet and getting some packs and gold to get more packs early on. But once you decide you're going to play this game 3-4 times a week for a couple hours, maybe a day, then maybe you need to spend some money on it or find a way to make the free-to-play experience enjoyable to you. Maybe get into Arena or have a rotation of play, do your quests.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So before we move on to the next topic, now that we've warmed up everybody's ears with that,
My goodness,
with that small, short discussion,
what you get into, Andrew?
Yeah.
Hey, no, for real.
Yeah. So, Andrew, why don't you tell all of our listeners who might not be familiar with Happy Hearthstone a little bit about your show?
Yeah, now that you've heard all of my opinions and stuff and know me on a deep level, let me tell you the basic things about me. So my name's Andrew. I got into Hearthstone around Naxxramas, which is weird because I've been a Blizzard fanboy for a long time. My dad grew us up on a Mac, and way back then, Blizzard games were the only ones really that were available on Mac. So we had Warcraft, StarCraft, Diablo. My mom wished that we hadn't played that game, but that's okay. And I had also gotten into a lot of TCGs when I was younger, especially Pokemon. I love that. I dabbled with a little Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! So when I found out about Hearthstone and the fact that it had been around for a while, I was kind of awestruck that I hadn't found it because I was like, this game was built for me. And since then, I've been pretty hooked. Around last year, I started a podcast called Villains Chosen with my good friends Rob and Eve. And we had a blast making 73 episodes. And around that time, Josh Augustine, who started up Happy Hearthstone, got a job working at Blizzard. And that is kind of the dream job, sort of game designer over there and everything. So he helps on the World of Warcraft team there. And so he reached out to me. I had co-hosted on the show with him before and asked if I would be interested in taking it on. And hard decision, I'm sure you guys can imagine, since you built this baby with your bare hands. But it was just, it felt like really wrong to let that podcast die. So I said, yeah, man, I'd be honored to carry on the torch. So I've been doing that now for the better part of this year, I believe. Zeroshia was actually the very first co-host that I had after taking it on. So it was honored to have him and got to make a new friend that way.
Episode 86, check it out.
That's right, yeah. And the big difference with Happy Hearthstone, if you never listened, is we have a rotating cast of co-hosts. So, and by rotating, I mean literally every episode is a new co-host. So we get people from our community. I was actually co-host on there before I ever started a podcast. So that was kind of my, getting my feet wet and stuff. So it's a lot of fun to get different perspectives and hear a lot of people's, fun. It's very lighthearted, although I'm kind of serious when it comes to ladders. So I brought a little bit more of that to the show, but love what we do. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah. So definitely, if you're looking for another Hearthstone show to add to your weekly rotation, we highly recommend Happy Hearthstone.
Thanks, man.
I've listened to quite a few episodes back when Josh hosted it, and now I've listened to quite a few of your episodes, and I got to say the show's just as good. You guys, you do a fantastic job filling in for Josh. So
thanks a lot, man.
Congratulations.
He certainly left big shoes to fill, like clown-sized shoes. But I'm clowning my way around, so I guess it's working out for me or something.
Yeah, there you go.
There are 5 podcasts that I make sure I listen to every time they hit my phone, and yours is right there. In fact, I think your podcast and Legend of the Innkeeper, I think, are the only 2 that I'm 100% on right now. The others I've got downloaded, but I make sure I make sure to hit you guys up every week, and then I think you were the final one of my 5 to get on the show. So I don't know whether it was saving the best for last or we were intimidated or what, but
either way, I'm humbled by that, and likewise, it's the same way that I we can only listen to so many, but I'm a Hero Power fan, as you guys have found out. I don't need to ask how you do the show or anything because I know from
there you go.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so our next topic of discussion was this past weekend we saw the European Spring Playoff qualifiers, where and let me tell you guys, it was a really, really good group of players out of Europe, and
my gosh, it was amazing.
It came down to the final 4 being Hoy, Naria, RDU, and Kolento. I don't think you could ask for 4 better players who have a sheet of qualifications a mile long. I mean, these guys.
And one of the biggest complaints about HCT in Europe is no names tend to rise to the top, and you don't often see regular winners you did this time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see Calento back in it. He's taking a break, and in his defense, he's taking it voluntarily. He hasn't really shined in the professional scene since 2014, but he's been focusing on streaming and smaller cups. Mm-hmm. He played fabulously. He's one of my favorite players ever.
Yeah. So, Andrew, did you get to watch any of the playoffs this past weekend?
I did not. I've been busy moving to Colorado, so I haven't had much time to even play myself, honestly. But I love all those names. Those are matches that I would love to see.
They were very good matches. Versika, did you get to watch any of it?
Well, you guys know I'm a huge Calento fan, so Calento was playing, I was watching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it came down to Calento and Hoy in the finals. And let me tell you, Hoy was on his game. It may have been some of the best Hearthstone I've watched. I don't think he made a mistake. It was just flawless Hearthstone, and it was a well-deserved win for Hoy.
And in his defense, Calento played fabulously, and for him to be defeated so sure-handedly by Hoy in the grand finals, that just tells you Hoy is no joke.
Yeah. Well, those four players from Europe will be joining Jason Zhao, Trunks, X-Hope, and Dog, GG, from China in Shanghai for the Spring Championships next month, I believe. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have the Americas Spring Playoffs this weekend, where there may be quite a bit of controversy in seeing how those in the United States perform playing out of venues like Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes, we talked about this last week on the show, or 2 weeks ago on the show, when it was first announced. You guys may remember we had QWERTY on the show, and he was a little concerned about the Buffalo Wild Wings venues. I have continued to talk to other innkeepers. Guys, they are ready to do this. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to watching the how it unfolds this weekend. It's going to be really good.
I did get confirmation from a source that Blizzard is supplying noise-canceling headphones for the venues.
Okay, awesome. That's news I had not heard, so there you go. I know one player who qualified is not going to be competing, and so one of our past guests on the show, Dude7597, qualified for playoffs, but he also qualified for the if you guys don't know, he plays for the University of Washington men's ultimate frisbee team, and they qualified for the nationals, the collegiate national tournament this weekend, so he'll be playing there.
Real.
Yep.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, so he'll be,
dude. That's awesome.
Congrats, dude. Yeah. I hope you're listening. That's something that you'll always remember. So
yeah. So he is skipping the Hearthstone playoffs for that. So congratulations. Hope you guys do well. All right. That brings us to this week's Global Games highlights. Zeroshio, why don't you take it away?
I left the link in the show notes. Where I'm not going to go in lots of detail. We do have the United States still 4-0, and the big match was Croatia and Czech Republic. They were both 3-0. And the winner would pretty much solidify their seat going into the round of 24. And Croatia defeats Czech Republic in a very close 3-2 match. It went down to the ace match and really down to the last play. It was really awesome games. Check out the VODs on that. And then Mexico defeats Turkey 3-1 to take the lead. They are now 3-1 in Group G. That is a very strong showing for the Mexico team, which was not expected to do really well. Now, Epsilon, which is not the anchor, she's one of the streamers that are on the team. She's been leading out every game as the first game in each of the matches, and she's undefeated so far. She's gone 4-0 in her individual record through through the entirety of HGG so far. I'm surprised they haven't used her in ace matches. She's been playing really, really versatile decks. She's played a little bit of controlling mid-range all the way down to very fast aggro. Her Druid game, I think, ended on turn 4 yesterday. I'm really impressed by her display, not just for representing Mexico and the Americas, but also for female Hearthstone players. She's really putting them in the spotlight as well, up there with players like Wife Coach. I'm really, really excited to see how Epsilon does throughout the tournament. I expect them to go to the round of 24 and her to do really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys remember a few episodes back, we actually featured one of Epsilon's decks. It was a Hunter deck that she played in the first week of HGG. You can go back and find that.
Curator Hunter.
Yep, Curator Hunter. So, all right.
Ysera. What you going to do when you see Ysera and Hunter?
Well, if you're priest, you're going to concede.
So, all right. There was a bit of controversy this week that we are going to talk about. I know, right? Us talk about Blizzard controversy? What?
Never.
It's so unlike you guys.
So, this week, actually 3 days ago, on the 22nd of May, Blizzard announced the rules for the Wild tournament that they're going to be holding later this year. So if you guys remember, they are taking the top 64 players in Wild, and they're going to be able to participate in a tournament later in the year. Well, apparently, Blizzard released some pretty crazy region restrictions with this event, which had players playing on certain servers, getting top 64, and then finding out they're not eligible to compete because of the server that they were on. Well, again, as we've seen in the past, a player goes to Reddit, makes a post, and it blows up. And the community gets behind them, and Blizzard comes out and says, okay, we looked at it, you're right. And I think it had to do with, like... Australia specifically is, when you log in, Australia should be playing on the Chinese servers, I guess.
The Asia Pacific.
Oh, the Asia Pacific, yeah. Asia Pacific servers. But when you first launch Blizzard for the very first time, and it pings your region, it puts Australia players into the NA. It always has. And Australia players, when competing for HCT, they would qualify in the Americas, not in Asia Pacific. And a lot of that has to do with the way network traffic works. They actually get a more reliable network traffic bouncing out of Hawaii and hitting the North America servers than they do having to go through the Chinese airwaves to get to the Asia Pacific servers. It causes issues because if you know, China is all on their own, and it's actually ran by a totally different company, not by Blizzard themselves. Well, in this rules, it put Australia in the Asia Pacific, so all the Australia players that are going for top 64 would not have been eligible on the America server. Yeah. So Blizzard made some changes to their rules, and they actually went off of what the Blizzard default pings are, and so Australia got moved to the NA group, and now those players that were top 64 in Wild are going to be eligible for the tournament later. And I think that also includes New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken, because they're lumped in that same Australian group, even though they would not like that if you said that. That's why I'm bringing it up.
There were some surrounding islands that were included too.
Yeah.
Australia was the big one, but there were a few smaller places too.
Yeah, so we've got the rules and everything, the actual official competition rules. We'll have a link to those in our show notes. You guys can check that out when the post for this show goes live in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.
There was one other small controversy with prize money. First place gets $8,000, okay? And then $7,000 and trickles down from there. I think that's fair. However, a lot of your pro players that, when they heard about this tournament, started putting all their effort into Wild, finding out the prize pool is not as high as it would be running on Standard and trying to compete for the 8CT season there, they were a little upset. And, of course, Reddit grabbed a hold of that as well, saying that I've wasted all this time. You should have told me how much money I was going to get at the beginning of the month so I knew it was worth the effort.
For only $8,000, man.
And to be honest, this is the very first Wild tournament. They're trying to find out how much interest they're going to get. The more interest they get, the larger scale they can do these tournaments, the more money they can put into it and get sponsorship back from it. They can then put out more money for these tournaments. Like maybe there will be a specific Wild format Hearthstone Championship Tour, which I believe I talked about last year. On one of our earlier episodes, that I hope one day they would do that.
Yeah,
I think the prizes are fine.
The total cash prize pool is $25,000 spread over first through 8th place. So
I mean, some of your major tournaments like DreamHack's total prize pool is $25,000 through 16th place, which means that that's less money per person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think compensation-wise, they're doing a good job. All right, so with that said, I think that brings us to this week's Tavern Brawl, which, as you guys know, we are usually one of the first shows to talk about Tavern Brawl since it launches on the day we actually record, and we're a day late this week. Again, my fault. So this week's Tavern Brawl is a peek to the past, and I just gotta say, I absolutely love this. It says, let's take it down a notch there, Brawler. Make a deck using only cards from basic and classic sets, but none of those fancy epics or legendaries, you hear? So, you have to build a deck out of basic and classic using only commons and rares. Now, some of you have heard us talk in the past about a format called Pauper, which you can only use commons from basic and classic. It's a
as
lot
well
of
as
fun.
other sets.
Yeah, as usually standard Pauper, but it's so much fun when you have these types of restrictions on creativity. Andrew, have you gotten a chance to play around with Tavern Brawl yet?
Oh yeah, I'm generally a one and done kind of guy when it comes to Tavern Brawl, but this one is so different from what they've ever done. This is the first time in a long time that I got excited when I read what it was, honestly. And I don't know that I'll go back and try too much, but I always try to just take whatever daily quest I have and make that work. So I had a priest one. So I started thinking, okay, what priest stuff could I do? And I thought, well, Divine Spirit and Inner Fire are both old school, and they're working really well right now, so I don't have to worry about that. I can do a lot of draw stuff with Northshire Clerics, with Wild Pyromancers, Acolytes of Pain, and I can throw in some random stuff like Ancient Watchers and Silence and see how it goes. And I won my first game against a Control Warrior that had quite a bit on the board. So it was the winning thing was really drawn through the deck, basically. But I had a ton of fun just thinking through and coming up with something.
Nice.
Yeah, Priest has some of the best early removal in that slot, that restricted section with Shadow or Death and Shadow or Pain.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with those guys.
Yeah, Versika, you got a chance to play yet?
Oh yeah. This harkens back to my first Fireside when I snuck through and beat all you guys, and you didn't even know who I was.
You're never gonna let people up with that, are you?
Hey, I came into a Fireside with nothing but commons and rares. No, I have a deck that whenever something like this comes up, I know it by heart. I popped in, and like Andrew, I'm normally a one and done guy, unless it's something that we're talking about on the show for the first time. So in those I'll play 9 or 10 games. I think I'm somewhere around the 20s on this.
Wow.
I couldn't sleep, so I got up and played a few, but yeah, I've only lost once. So
yeah,
this is my thing. This is when I had the most fun playing Hearthstone was back when it was just Nax and Basic and Classic. So.
Versika's our mad scientist, and he just loves to build decks anyway that people don't expect. So But that's what I love about this one. And my favorite thing about this is that there's not like one specific deck like we've seen in the past with others that everybody's playing the same deck just because they know it adheres to it. There are so many varied decks that are usable in this format. So, yeah.
Well, you know one card that can be used in this format? Savage Roar. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I made a lot of people angry by flooding the board.
Token Druid,
Savage
dude.
Roaring.
Token Druid is totally viable in this format. You don't need epics and legendaries for Token Druid.
Yep. And the amount of board clear is minimal in this set.
And
so if you just go wide and then go face, you win.
Yeah, Jolly in chat says questing Adventurer Rogue is a lot of fun in this format too. So.
Oh yeah, questing rogue.
Yeah,
we're talking about questing adventurer, not the quest.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, that does it for the news this week, which means we finally get to talk about something fun. This Murloc Paladin deck that Andrew brought. So, as we were, we always like to have our guests bring a deck, and Andrew did not disappoint. Because let me tell you, I've been playing this deck. I played it quite a bit this weekend when I had a little time. I actually logged in, and my daily was win 5 as a Paladin. And I went, wait, I know what I'm going to play. Let's see how we do.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I actually went 5-1 with it. My only loss was to a Gunther Mage, which we actually talked about last week on the show. So I thought that was pretty fitting. Good. So I'm going to do a rundown of the deck list, and then I'm going to turn it over to Andrew to kind of talk about how the deck works, how it plays, what to expect in certain situations, and that kind of thing. So, all right, this deck list has 2 Grimscale Chum, 2 Murloc Tidecaller, 2 Vilefin Inquisitor, 2 Bluegill Warrior, 2 Hydrologist, 2 Rockpool Hunter, 2 Cold Light Seers, 1 Divine Favor, 2 Murloc War Leader, 2 Blessing of Kings, 2 Consecration, 2 Gentle Megasaur, 2 True Silver Champions, Finja the Flying Star, 2 Spike Ridge Steed, Sunkeeper Tareem, and of course, good old Tyrion Fordring. So, alright Andrew, take it away.
First of all, I got to say, I've dreamed many nights of you saying, Andrew, take it away. So to hear that is cathartic. Anyway, this deck is crazy. And the interesting thing is that with how the meta has been just absurd over the past month since Journey to Angora was released, I have done insane work with this deck, and I have not been able to make anything happen. So my experience this month in trying to get to Legend, which I haven't done yet, is I got up to about rank 11 with a Quest Shaman just for fun, which actually worked pretty well. And then at that point, when I hit a wall, I started playing this. This deck got me up to rank 3, which is pretty good. But once I hit rank 3, I hit a wall that had me just shuffling between rank 3 and rank 2 for over 150 games. Whoa. And after that, I said, probably time to shake it up. I tried Gunther Mage. That actually got me up to rank 1. And now Gunther Mage isn't working. And according to the Vicious Syndicate report that just dropped today, Murloc Paladin's pretty good again. So I might be going back to this now.
Nice.
But the way this deck works, it really isn't too complicated. You need to know what to do in certain matchups, and that's probably where the skill of it happens. But as far as just playing it and your strategy, you want to flood the board early, you want to buff up all of your guys, and you want to kill your opponent fast. This deck has some really cool aggro parts to it and some really cool mid-range parts to it. Even a little bit of control with Tyrion and the Spike Ridges. I mean, Spike Ridge, that's a freaking card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh yeah.
I love that card.
So really, you've just got a hard mulligan for your early game, and then pray that you don't get matched up against a Token Druid that plays a 3/4 on one that kills one of your guys. And like really, other than that, it's just making the most of your board. Murloc War Leaders obviously are going to buff everything. Gentle Megasaur, that's another great card. Don't get into the trap that you have to buff an entire board. If you buff one Murloc, that's value, because a 5/4 for 4 is okay. But if you get poison on your little 1/1 and take out their 5/6 with taunts, that's fantastic.
Yep.
So it's a really fun deck. I think I've always wanted Murlocs to work. I think a lot of us always have, and now they're good enough that people are teching in Hungry Crabs. So just pray that you don't get matched up against a deck that's running that, and you've got a pretty good chance.
All right. Well, there you go. So, as you guys know, I'm always excited to see these decks in action. So, before we do that, any last thoughts this week, Zeroshio? What do you got?
All I gotta say is enjoy Hearthstone right now. I think the esports are really going to pick up. You're seeing a lot of meta changes almost on a daily basis with Hearthstone Global Games. Enjoy the playoffs this weekend, and if you are near one of the venues, even if it's a Buffalo Wild Wings, go on in there and check out some of the players and just let them know that you're supporting them and that you're wishing them good luck in their matches, because they can use the encouragement.
Absolutely. Versika, any thoughts?
Just the normal, it's a holiday weekend, be smart, be safe. It's important that regardless of what you're doing, just think about what you're doing before you get out there. Have a good time, but be responsible with it. We want to make sure that you get to tune in next week and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. It's too short to not.
All right. Andrew, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online and when they can catch Happy Hearthstone?
Absolutely. I'm on Twitter at Andrew is Living. That's the best way to keep in track with everything. You can follow the show at the Happy HS. It's available on anything that you're listening to podcasts on, iTunes, Google Play, or whatever. And just search for it. I release the show every other week, so it's a little less frequent, which maybe is nice if you're overloaded on podcasts. And yeah, we release on Tuesdays. We'll actually release one this Tuesday with a good friend, and it's going to be it's a great show. We talked about Dragon Priest, so it's good stuff.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Excellent. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us at this time. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do that by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower, where you will get access to special perks like our patron-only Discord and the ability to compete in our quarterly Hero Power Invitational tournaments. And until we see you again, Zeroshio, this is your line.
Don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty. Yeah, I know. I tried.
A rare miss.
I wait for the until next week. And you don't say next week.
I try to mix it up a little bit, just throw you off. All right. Well, while we're getting set up for Andrew to play his Murloc Paladin here, Versika, why don't you tell us a little bit more about our friends over at Viforce?
Well, we mentioned during the email portion that one of the best ways to figure out the type of system that you need to run the games that you want to play on the settings that you want to play them is to actually contact Viforce themselves. Not only are they very knowledgeable about their systems, they're very knowledgeable about the computer gaming industry itself. So send them a custom request form and just tell them what you want to play. Tell them, I want to play this game, this game, this game. I want to play it on high settings. I want to play it on ultra settings. This is my budget. Can I get there from here? They'll be honest with you. They'll work with you the best way that they can. And, it may be that you got to make a few concessions, but they'll get you as close as you can to what you want for what you can pay. And the only way you're going to find that out is to get in touch with them. So go to ViforceGaming.com, click on the Contact Us page, send them a link or send them an email, maybe link a system that you've already seen, but send them an email, tell them what you want. And they'll get back with you and see if they can't help you out.
All right. Well, let's do it. Go ahead and queue up, and now you can do either ranked or casual. That's totally up to you. If you don't want to, jump on the ladder, that's fine. Or if you want to play on the ladder, that's fine too.
I need to grind out some games, and I really feel like this deck has gone full circle. So we'll hope for the best, and we'll see how it goes here.
All right.
All right. So just let us know when we can hop in and spectate, and we'll.
Can you now?
Show you searching for an opponent.
Perfect.
All right.
There we go.
Sweet.
Oh, and I forgot. Oh, man, I hate to throw things at you already, but I actually teched in a Hungry Crab in here instead of a Grimscale Chum.
Oh, okay.
I think that I'll probably switch that back after this game, just because there's not. I haven't run into as much Murloc Paladin.
Gotcha. All right, so we're looking at a warrior as our first opponent, and our opening hand is Bluegill Warrior, Hydrologist, Consecration. What are you normally looking for in your mulligans with this deck?
You really want the 1-drop Murlocs and maybe the Hydrologist here. I haven't seen him move. Warrior's one of those decks that you really have to watch if they mouse over their cards to see if they're quest or not. I haven't seen anything, so I don't know what he is. So I think I'm going to keep the Hydrologist just because I'm going first, and we'll throw the rest of the stuff back here. But if we can get a Vilefin Inquisitor, okay, Grimscale Chum's fine. If you get Vilefin Inquisitor into Rockpool Hunter, that's the start that you want right there.
Okay. So we also picked up Sunkeeper Tareem in our mulligan.
So we're and Grimscale Chum came through that mulligan, so we're going to take him, of course. Looks like we're up against Taunt Warrior here.
Oh, yeah, Quest Warrior.
Which actually, Sunkeeper Tareem's really good in this matchup.
Yeah.
He's so pretty gold.
Yeah, he is. The Hydrologist, another tip, you almost always want Getaway Kodo, just because you get so much value off of him. You basically get a free card every time he goes off, and if you get a free Sunkeeper Tareem or Tyrion, that's just really good.
You like Repentance in this matchup, though?
I do. You beat me to it, absolutely. and because our other, Noble Sack doesn't really do much other than protect something, and Eye for an Eye is a joke in this matchup. So, yeah, we'll take the Repentance.
Eye for an Eye is really good against Freeze Mage or any of the mages that use Ice Block.
Yeah, it's a good last ditch effort at least. So I'm wishing we had played that Repentance already, but oh well.
Well, that's fine. The buff from the Rockpool Hunter is gonna help us here.
But we can basically just take out the Tart Creeper, which I don't like, but I think we kind of have to just to kind of establish the board. We're kind of hoping that he plays like a Stonehill Defender or something.
Which is probably what he'll do. Is Repentance really worth for the Stonehill Defender? I guess it is because it'll make it a 1/1, right?
Yeah, I think it is. And like I said on the audio portion, Gentle Megasaur with on a 2/3 is not bad,
Oh, yeah. This is perfect.
There it is. Go.
Ask on hero power and you shall receive.
Right.
That is the way it works, usually.
I'll take it. The bad news is we're not going to be able to gain much. Well, okay. So the question is, do we want to play the Hydrologist and Bluegill instead?
I think so, and then you Gentle Megasaur next turn, hoping he doesn't have some way to clear the board.
Yep. Yeah. With whatever secret we get as well next turn.
Yeah, let's see what we get off the Hydrologist just in case, but I can't imagine. Now, I'm kind of tempted by that Repentance because it did some work,
It does a lot of work against this matchup. I like Getaway Kodo, but usually you're not going to get a good board where Getaway Kodo works.
Yeah.
Because mainly they're going to brawl or use area effect to clear your board.
Yeah, I'm with you. So yeah, the Megasaur Repentance this next turn is just devastating, and then, Brawl sucks in this matchup.
This is great.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic.
because now we're going to his next turn. He's probably going to drop a decent-sized taunt that he got off one of these stone hills, and Repentance going to get so much value.
Yeah. You know, the thing that surprised me about Megasaur is how valuable the +3 health is. It's not normally what you would think you would want, but survivability is just massive.
Yeah, and with this matchup, you might be able to push him out of that whirlwind effect, or they might have to use Sleep with the Fishes as well.
Now the hard thing is that he can brawl this next turn, and he's probably going to if we take out the Stonehill Defender. But I mean, it's just our game plan, so we kind of have to go with it.
Well, you're going to force him on having it.
Yeah,
I like Wind Fury here, because if we use Wind Fury, we could double trade the Hydrologist, and that would lower the value of his brawl.
That's actually true.
Mm-hmm.
Zeroshio. Zeroshio with the kill. Actually, I'm going to take out the Rockpool Hunter. Just
that works. I mean, either way.
Execute. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love Paladin. Paladin was my
it was made for you.
My second golden hero. Might have been first. I can't remember which. But I've been playing Paladin for a long time.
Yeah, and the good news with this setup is if he brawls, we're guaranteed a good drop.
Yeah.
You know, there's really nothing I'm upset about.
We'll at least get 4 damage worth of minion.
Yeah. I don't think I would have seen that play. That was a good call, Zeroshio.
Yeah, a lot of people underestimate the Wind Fury when your opponent has taunts on the board. They think, the Wind Fury is not going to get any value.
Yeah, because now, depending on what he plays...
Now he doesn't want to brawl.
Oh
my gosh.
Wow.
And now
if he
whirlwinds, he kills his own taunt.
But if he doesn't, then we run him over with Raptors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Sunkeeper Terrum is just going to turn all these Raptors
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We might win if we
I don't think he knows what to do here.
No, he can't.
I don't think he was expecting the second Repentance at all.
No, must not have
Now
been.
the board state is exactly where it was last turn before he did that, if he whirlwinds.
What is he even trying? Oh, slam. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Probably slam execute.
Yeah, so that's game.
Ah!
Yeah, because we could have just
he didn't have a way
Sunkeeper.
out.
We could have just Sunkeeper Tareemed and killed him.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was planning on whirlwinding.
Yeah.
And when he saw the repentance, see, that's the value of repentance in this matchup.
Yeah, Repentance is very good
Space
against
Center
Taunt
bug,
Warrior.
yeah.
What my wife says, even a broke
can't
clock
skip
is
it.
right twice a day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take out this hungry crab. I
Okay.
put it in during a time that I was facing a lot more Murlocs, and I forgot about that. Let's see. So we'll go with the second Grimskill Chum, just like we said.
That's the fastest concession I've had against a
Taunt
Taunt
Warrior.
Warrior.
Yeah, gosh.
Usually they stay in for the long haul.
Well, I don't see very many Taunt Warriors playing that card either, and I think it worked him into a corner.
Well,
He
It's
didn't
been a-
really have an option.
you
it's
got it
been
from
a
Stonehill,
check.
right?
I think so. I don't know.
But it has been a check in the HGG to speed up your to basically you're going to whirlwind anyways. So you put out a good taunt, your whirlwind to clear the board that you were going to clear anyways, and it speeds up your quest faster.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let us know when you are
yeah.
back in.
Yeah,
Zen.
we're back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we had
Oh,
spectator
baby.
bug had to drop out.
Yeah, we got the Dream Mulligan here with a Vilefin and a Rock Pool. So that's.
Oh,
But we're up against another warrior, so
Yep.
the coin.
now I think.
Coin too.
Yeah, no, I think I saw him mouse over what would be the quest, so he could be pirate. I mean,
Well, this is
Really-
a great open pirate.
yeah, really, this deck will do either. Like you don't mulligan very differently depending on that. So I'm just gonna throw back. You never keep the bluegill. You want that later in the game to. Oh, this
sounds
is
great.
come
This
on,
is
baby.
great.
Man,
Free
I need
consecrate
you guys watching me every time I play this game. Seriously.
We get that a lot.
Get
I
excited.
never have slush on my own. Okay,
Oh no!
that's fine.
Now a lot of people they will select the quest and then deselect the quest.
Oh yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
to fake you out. Now, if I'm playing quest Taunt Warrior, I will select all three and then undo them. So it makes you, if you only do the first one, you can still be quest.
Yeah. Now this is an important turn because some people would ask if you play the rock pool or if you hero power. I'm all about that hero power on this.
Yeah, I like the hero power.
Not just because I'm with you guys, but because it puts him in a weird situation. And also next turn I can Blessing of Kings that guy and do some work. Oh, no, I can't.
Not now. Yeah.
And Rock Pool Hunter works on those tidal hand Murlocs.
So what do you?
I think I like.
Go ahead.
You got a lot of options here. I think I like coining the True Silver.
That's
just
what that was my line as well.
Because it sets us up for next turn, and even though we don't know, what are his turn 4 plays? I can't even think of what.
It really only has Stonehill.
Yeah. Which is
it's an awkward turn.
Turn 5 is where the taunts are released. So next turn, hero powering and rock pool huntering is just fine.
I mean, I suppose he could blood hoof.
Oh yeah, that's the 4. Okay, well he's got nothing. I'm okay with that.
I like this play. Rock pulling the Silverhand Murloc.
Yep.
Which it's a pet peeve of mine. They call it the title hand, but they call the Murloc Silverhand Murlocs. They should be title hand Murlocs. So just
that would be sweet. I hate that card, but it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it's not terrible considering we have Blessing of Kings.
See, I want a Blessing of Kings it, but I hate that he has an Execute or Sleep with the Fishes. Well, I guess, Sleep with the Fishes would take care of it. But I think
we could just hero power Bluegill, run the Bluegill into it and hit it with our face, but then that leaves us with a really weak board. I mean, it leaves us with a 2/2 and a 1/1, or we can have a 4/2. So, or 4
that's damage.
Sorry, 4/3.
I think that's the right turn. You guys agree?
Yeah.
I like this play better.
There are just 2 different lines you could take in that.
Or if he has his second axe, I guess that's not fun either. But at least he takes 6 to the face.
6 to the face, which is something a lot of people don't value. We got to make sure that Acolyte only draws him 1 card. Oh, it's not. It's going to draw him 2 at least.
We got to make sure that Acolyte only draws him 2 cards.
Yes.
Well.
Got to make sure.
Now it's drawing him 3 cards.
We have Divine Favor in our hand, which Versika will tell you is the most overpowered class card in the game.
It is. It is so powerful.
Now we've got the mega combo of Bluegill and War Leader, which is almost always the right play. And I think I really like playing those 2, attacking the Acolyte with the weapon and just going face.
Going face, yeah, absolutely.
I'm fine with that. I like it. Develops a good board.
And it's another similar situation to the last game where if he brawls, what am I upset about?
And that's 12 to the face.
The worst thing he could do is like Whirlwind, Sleep with the Fishes, or Ravaging Ghoul, Sleep with the Fishes. But
that still puts us in a really good spot for Divine Favor, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of resources that he throws at it. And that's Spike Steed. That's like a free card. Or a free Sludge Belcher, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Well, I guess it's a good matchup for Taunt Warrior. I didn't remember that necessarily, but we're doing pretty fine.
I don't remember this being as good of a matchup against Taunt Warrior. But Taunt Warrior has changed from 2 weeks ago. They've kind of sped up quite a bit. And I think they've gotten rid of a lot of Taunt Warriors only running 1 brawl, and they're relying more on the AoE damage like Whirlwind and Primordial Drake.
There's the Ghoul.
Still.
Yeah, I can Spike Ridge Steed.
Yeah, I was gonna say
my back.
Yeah, I would definitely play the.
I'd even throw out the Volfin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Execute's the only way he can get rid of that blue guy.
And I like going face here.
He can't buff the Ghoul. That's when you have to really worry about trading. But Taunt Warrior, there's no buff mechanics really.
And there's no real charges. And the only other thing he's going to use is a weapon, which because you hit him in the face, now he can't use the weapon as well because he's going to take more face damage. There's a Stonehill. which is fine. We can actually. I don't know if you'd want to Tarim this board.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to execute. Okay.
That's fine. Well, now we might want to.
This is a weird turn.
Well, there we got the Gentle Megasaur.
What do you think about? What do you think about Consecrate to clear the Tar Creeper and then Divine Favor to try and get some max value? At this point, I don't feel like he's ever going to have more cards in his hand than 6.
We'll draw 3 cards. Well, he's got
So we'll
5.
we'll draw back to 5, and then maybe next turn is a better Sunkeeper hand. Sunkeeper turn.
That's possible. The only you have to have a board. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about. And granted, if he brawls,
On the same note, what if we Gentle Megasaur, hoping for either +3 attack or poisonous, and then we Divine Favor? Or this works too.
Yeah.
I'm going with my gut on this just because we're low on time. But I
like it.
I think what this does is it forces him to play another big minion, which with the Gentle Megasaur we might be able to take care of this next turn, along with generating another valuable something off of it.
Yeah.
It just forces him to have an answer, which I really like. And I don't think he's going to throw. Yeah,
That's fine.
I wish I could say I saw this coming, but it makes more sense now that if you force him to have a big minion like that, then he's still got plenty in his hand that we can still Divine Favor for.
So now this turn, we can play Hydrologist into Megasaur into Divine Favor and draw 4 more cards.
Well, we would get the secret also.
We get 3 cards.
Well, 3 cards. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Which,
I like it.
Yeah, let's go with it. See what happens.
If we get poisonous or +3 attack, I like Getaway Coder there. I really like Getaway Coder there, actually.
Ooh.
+3 attack. That clears.
Yeah.
That clears the Drake and leaves our Tarim at 3/1. So a Whirlwind effect would give us Tarim back if we... Well, we're not going to Getaway Coder. That's right. Ooh,
Finch
that's
comes
good.
to play. I forgot to say on the audio portion, Finch is a weird card in this deck, and I still don't quite get it. Because when you get out like a Biofin Inquisitor and a Grimscale Chum, it's not great, you know? Oh, that stinks. I hate Primordial Drake. I haven't had a chance to say that yet, but I genuinely hate that card.
It's so much value for 8 mana. It really is.
Yeah. And now we're really screwed. Yeah.
But he's used a lot of his AoE damage. Do you think the Finch is going to be safe here?
Still haven't seen the Brawl.
Yeah, that's the big thing. But a Brawl would be fine when he's got 2 really good cards there. Some point soon he's going to get that quest done, and then I'm going to cry. Well, I don't even know if I like playing the Chum here. I kind of want to Chum Finja Seer and just kind of go wide a little bit and see what he does.
Protects us from Whirlwind, Sleep with the Fishes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oop, Buff landed on Finja. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Do we hit the Drake so Finja will kill it next turn?
I like that.
Your call. Did we lose you? Okay. There we go. Might have been my internet.
Andrew?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think it might
Did we lose Andrew on Skype?
I think Scott might have lost Andrew.
He was able to finish his turn, though.
Yes, so he's still connected to Hearthstone.
And he did emote thank you, so...
He'll be back in just a minute, I'm sure.
If you can BM, you can play Hearthstone.
So we will just We
Here
will
comes
just
the brawl.
shoutcast Andrew's plays for him.
Fidget. Oh. Well. Here comes, I was going to say,
Yep,
Fire
the
War
War
Axe.
So I think the play here is, depending on what we draw.
I wish we could have gotten the Ooh.
Tyrion. Yep.
That's a snap play.
That's a snap play followed by the getaway Kodo, so he comes back if he dies.
Yes. At first I was saying I wish we could have cast Getaway Kodo, but I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah.
At this point, I think you don't put anything else on the board. Ooh. That's going to cause
really
problems.
good card.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that off the Stonehill?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
So now, do you go wide and hero power, or play the Tide Caller, then hero power and Megasaur?
The problem is if you do that, then you reduce your chance of getting Tyrion back to your hand. I'm almost saying just clear the Stonehill, or go ahead and take a big chunk off of Tarlord and pass.
What about take a big chunk off Tarlord and Consecrate to lower the health even more?
I don't know if Consecrate value.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
Okay.
We were just talking through your play here.
Yeah, this play sucks.
Well, do you want to go wide and reduce your chances of getting Tyrion back on the secret, or do you want to just
that's a good
just
question.
just
Just
run
chunk
Tyrion
the
in and take a
511?
big chunk off the 511?
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
And then pass.
The only thing is, like,
This tells him we have Getaway Kodo.
Yeah, he knows, but he also has to get. Well, no, I guess he could throw up his rag weapon and just hero power it. But even that's okay.
Either way, we get it back.
Yeah, that's true.
No matter what, he'll end up killing it at some point. Unless
guess-
he just gets 3 straight shots to our face, which is highly
I
unlikely.
was gonna say he could do that, but
And that may be what he's going to do.
yeah.
Use the hero power. If it hits our face, he'll probably pass. Oh, there we go. Then we'll get Tyrion back.
Good
And
news
then
is
this turn, we can go wide.
Yeah.
and we can take out the Tar Lord, even though
Yep.
we're taking. And that card is just ridiculous. I don't know how it hasn't found a place in this deck.
It's only doing 1 damage to us.
Yeah, but it's so defensive. It's just stupid.
It is. Do we need to clear it with our face, or double consecrate doesn't do it?
No.
Well, you think about what he's going to do this next turn. If we play Tyrion, he'll take out Divine Shield with the. So actually, yeah, we might want to hit the defender.
If we hit the defender, he'll have to take.
What are
Divine
you thinking,
Shield out.
Versika? You've got that look on your face.
Does he?
I would like to. I haven't gotten to play this deck because I don't have Sunkeeper. I'm thinking to maximize a little bit of value from the weapon. I'm almost tempted to throw out the Tide Caller and Megasaur here.
And hero power and Megasaur?
Hero power, Tide Caller, Megasaur, and probably clear the Stonehill.
Okay, I like it.
Just to present targets on the board and force him to have to work a little bit more and maybe get more value out of Tyrion's weapon.
And that's the big thing that I didn't think about.
Yeah. Get a full 6 charges.
Let's see. +3
Plants?
attack.
+3 attacks works. Plants or 3 attack, either way works.
Well,
out.
the +3 attacks, now he really has to work to clear this stuff off.
Exactly. Either one of those work well.
And even if he tries to be smart about it, we've got a consecration that'll take care of both of those guys. So that's really good. If he goes face on that Gentle Megasaur, that's totally fine.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping he would do.
Yeah.
So now we'll take 8 to the face, but now we've set it up to.
Well, can we afford to well, I guess we.
Depends on what he plays.
Oh yeah,
here.
we can't do that in Tyrion. Crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to play Tyrion.
Oh, mama.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well,
I think if we consecrate.
We can
Whenever
we,
leader-
we can double consecrate and
Yeah.
clear the. Well, no, because no, we can't do that.
If we play Tyrion,
can.
we'll
Yeah.
run the Dire Horn and then just clear it with. No, we'll die if we play Tyrion.
Yeah. I
Or
mean,
no, we won't because the Tar Lord is just one.
Either
Yeah.
1/1.
Yeah.
So he would
But
have
he'll
to
kill it. He'll
Oh, no,
kill
no,
it
no.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Dire
yeah.
Horn.
We're dead either way. Yeah. So I think this is what we have to do. Unfortunately.
Consecrate
gonna
hero
s-
power.
Yeah, consecrate,
Yeah, well-
consecrate hero power and hope for the 50-50.
Yep.
What we could have done there was Tyrion and we could Tyrion and Dude, Murloc Dude. Then we could have cleared the Dire Horn, and that would have given us
We couldn't clear the Dire Horn with just our
no,
face.
because he would have still
Yeah,
ragged and got us.
6'9".
Exactly.
Yeah. This is the thing where we got to pick the best worst case scenario.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And we've got a
Whirlwind
50-50.
kills us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh well.
That's fine.
Unfortunate.
All right, well, that makes
That's
us 1
how
and
I
1.
remember the matchup being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we always play best 2 out of 3 on hero power. So let's.
So one more.
One more.
One more.
Let's see how we do.
Make it happen.
Can we make it a positive net gain?
I think so.
I sure hope so. Or
think-
can we go for 3 taunt warriors against this deck? That's
Yeah.
that's the real question.
So we're
Hey.
1 and 1 against Taunt Warriors.
If I could beat you on episode 86 of the Happy Hearthstone with Giants Reno Lock,
With
you
weird
can win-
giant weird Reno.
Weird Giants Reno Lock, you
Be clear.
can win this game. Pretty
Well,
sure.
thank you.
All right.
So
so we
we're
got
definitely getting rid of Tareem.
Tide Collar, Tareem, and Chum. So
I think we want to keep the other 2, just because having a lot of really low cost guys at the beginning. I mean, obviously we'd rather have a hydrologist or a rock pool, but that's okay. And man, Rogue is probably going to be Quest, so we need to be able to take over the board quickly. So playing a lot of little guys is good.
And Tide Collar first
Hey.
turn. Well, Grimskill or Tide Collar will be fine.
Yeah. Grimscale forces him to coin Dagger potentially, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like that.
And it beefs up. Hopefully it hits some. Well,
Dang. Not what we wanted, but
it's not the worst, but
if we get late game, then that's good. But if it's Quest, which it looks like it is, then... Yeah.
yep. It's Quest.
Okay. I haven't played a Quest Rogue in a while.
oh,
Don Thomas.
Glacial Shard right
Yeah.
off the gate. Okay.
But he left it. Oh, if we had a way to kill it.
Yeah, which we don't. Now, this is a matchup where Noble Sack is totally fine.
Yes.
Because
I like Noble Sack here.
of things.
You already said it's really your only play, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Penance doesn't do anything in Redemption. He's probably not going to trade much.
So he's going to clear the board here.
Oh, and he did his actions to. Well, that's right. We couldn't put the Noble Sack out yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
this
not
is
bad.
fine.
Now, the question is, which one do you do first, the Tide Collar or the Chum?
I think we do the Chum first, hoping to land on the Tide Collar.
I would agree with that.
What if he has... Well, yeah. Because if he has
mean,
Backstab especially, that just stinks.
It'll be a 2/2 Tide Collar or possibly a 2/3 Tide Collar.
Hey!
See,
man.
we got a 2/3 Tide Collar.
And then we'll protect the Grim
They
Scale
don't
Chum.
usually don't run Backstab, but if they do, it's only a 1/of.
Yeah.
And he can't run into it with his face because of Noble Sacrifice. I am not seeing bounce effects.
Yet.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Slightly.
It's basically what he needed to be able to contest the board.
But if
But
he
at
doesn't
least-
bounce these things,
I was going to say, at least he doesn't bounce patches.
yeah.
Well, the problem is, I hate flipping Novice Engineer, especially if
Yeah.
he's able to bounce out 100 times. So I think we have to trade against it.
You have to trade it. But we're going to get great Divine Favor value here.
Yeah, no, I'm
For this
very
matchup.
happy with that, yeah.
I mean, normally you don't get this kind of value for this matchup.
Yeah.
We're going to have a really good
So
Fidget next turn.
That's
So
what
he's
he's
saving
working on.
He's saving it all for the elemental. Still isn't terrible.
This is a funky turn too. Do we go Finja or do we unload all the other Murlocs?
I think right now we go Finja and clear the elemental.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I'm prone to say, because like if you buff the Tide Caller with the Hunter, with the Rockpool Hunter,
You clear the ferryman.
yeah, you can clear the Ferryman. It forces him to trade the little guy. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: he's not going to trade the flame elemental.
he's
He's
gonna
going to bounce
bounce
it.
yeah, that's
We
true.
need to get. He's not going to get any value off bouncing the ferryman.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Pretty much, you got to target whatever they want to complete the quest with.
Yeah.
And right now, he's only 1 of 4
Well-
at turn 5, which is good for us.
Right.
He's got
The hard,
one in his hand.
yeah, that Firefly he can bounce and get the same effect basically. So
He can, yeah, that's true. But it's still going to only be the second time the Firefly's been.
As
Okay.
Jolly said in chat, it's always great to see the Quest Rogue play patches early because that's one less 5/5 you have to contend with later.
yeah, no,
Yes.
totally for that. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy also did the other South Sea Deckhand, which is another 5/5 you won't have to deal with. So he really only has 3 left: the other South Sea and 2 boars.
Stone Tusk. Those are his chargers.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
a top
Yeah.
deck of a Gentle Megasaur right here would be amazing.
Yeah, I'd be happy about that.
Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna vanish?
Mimic
Oh, I
Pod.
hope not. Yeah.
Oh!
That's the biggest
That's
weakness
sad.
to Finja.
I've played so many games against Quest Rogue lately where Vanish just wins them the game, and it's awful.
I think we just put Finja back out.
Yeah, I think Finja and Inquisitor's fine here.
Yeah. Because we can buff up the Finja with Rockpool Hunter.
The hard thing is if he does complete his quest this turn. If he's got another prep, he could do that. Yeah, he's gonna bounce that back. Oh no, he's just gonna
vanish. But
Well-
he full value vanished there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
he did.
he'll be able to complete his
Which means
quest
he's
next turn.
What? And I wonder if he's saving his prep for that quest.
Likely. So
I don't like this.
do we Inquisitor, Rockpool Hunter, and Megasaur for poison? Since he now used both vanishes?
I'd rather build the board and be able to Megasaur next turn.
Okay.
Because even if he preps, he's not gonna. I doubt he's got 2. Let's see.
Chargers?
Yeah. So okay, no BM, friend, please.
Well,
So
we could
What
go
about
ahead.
Hydrologist into Rockpool into Cold Light?
Yeah, I like that.
Read my mind.
That's good. I'm not sure that I like the Kodo here. No, that's probably fine, and we'll hold off on it until.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. Gives us a decent board.
And the hard thing is having those guys at 5
Yes.
health is not what we want,
No.
But, nah.
He's going to have room for 4 more mana after the quest if he preps it. And he's not going to prep it. He didn't have the other prep. So he has room for 1 more.
It's good.
This is not bad.
It's not awful. Oh, that's a card. So we could Bluegill, Dude, and Megasaur just to get the full board. Because
What about Dude, Bluegill, Vilefin, Megasaur, and then have room for our Gateway Kodo?
So here's another option.
Mhm.
If you Spike Ridge Steed the 3/5 Hydrologist, it
Yeah.
makes it a 5/11. He has to run both of his guys into it to kill it, which leaves the
true.
rest of our board available.
And it's
That's
a taunt.
true.
We could even Bluegill and use our other
Yeah,
minions
we could
to
also
clear-
Bluegill or Hero Power.
I would think I would Hero Power.
You think Hero Power here? Okay.
I do.
Yeah, you're probably right. You want to save the value if you can. Because the Stegodon that it leaves.
Yeah. As we always say on this show, don't forget to use your Hero Power.
Yeah, that's of course. You'd think I would have learned by now. Okay. It's not awful. So I think we definitely use the Megazord here. This
yeah.
though.
I agree.
Now we want to be careful not to overdo it.
Well,
both vanishes are
he's
gone.
already played both vanishes, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right. But I can't play 3 minions and then play Megasaur.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think we'll Bluegill Vilefin and then Megasaur.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, and the Tar Creeper's been a new addition to.
Looking for +3 here.
Wind Fury works.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wind Fury's pretty good. Will that win it for us? Oh,
No.
Hold on. Maybe.
It gets us close.
No. Oh,
He
hey,
gave
he's
up.
not even-
I think
All right.
2, 4, 8.
That
No, we would have
would've-
done 9. We would have done 10.
We'd have done. I counted 8. What did I miss?
There was a 1 attack that we could use in the calculations.
Okay.
All right. But it doesn't matter because he concedes and we win 2-1 today with Murloc Paladin. So
Yep, I think he was hoping to get that second prep and didn't get it.
yeah. It's quite possible that's what he was looking for. But I will take it. I love beating Quest Rogue, guys. It just
always feels good.
Makes my day so much better. So, all right, guys. Well, again, we want to thank Andrew for coming on the show and bringing that Murloc Paladin. That's always so much fun.
Seriously, the pleasure is all mine, and I know I speak for the whole community when I say we love what you guys do. I mean, I look forward to Thursday mornings getting in my car, typically. So just thank you guys for doing what you're doing, and not just supporting the community, but really creating community and helping it to continue to thrive. Love what you guys do.
Thank you. That's high praise. We really do appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So let's do our last thoughts for the gameplay section. We'll just go straight down. Zeroshio, what do you got?
Andrew is amazing. He's very talented. He knows his stuff about Hearthstone, and he has lots of friends that know stuff about Hearthstone that come on to the Happy Hearthstone. So definitely check them out there on iTunes, Stitcher, all that stuff. And is it happyhs.com or is it MMO Reporter?
It's MMOreporter.com.
That's right.
Yeah, we're a part of their network.
So go over to MMOreporter.com and check out the Happy Hearthstone.
Yep. Versika?
Well, we've actually kind of been having a discussion in chat. I actually don't have Sunkeeper Tareem. He's one of the few cards out of Ungoro that I don't have. So we're trying to figure out which ones I need to disenchant to get there. But I was excited to see the deck because most decks I deep dive before they come on the show so that I can talk about them with some degree of confidence. And because I didn't have Sunkeeper, I couldn't really make this deck. And I didn't feel like there was a viable replacement. So thanks for coming on and playing it at a high level so I could watch and learn.
Yeah, I always hate saying that a legendary is essential, but Tareem's just so good. He's definitely worth saving up your dust for.
He you know what? I'm the first one to make an adjustment and say, here's a viable option. Here's something you can trade out to get this. If you don't have this, this is where you can go. But Sunkeeper is really, really important to this deck. So
well, I think Sunkeeper is really, really important to not just this deck, but the Paladin meta in our current meta as it is. I was a little skeptical at first, but I'm a big fan of Sunkeeper Tareem. So
good stuff.
Yeah. So, all right. One more time for everybody watching. Why don't you tell them where they can find you, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at AndrewIsLiving, or just search for Happy Hearthstone on your podcast provider of choice, or like Zeroshio said, MMOreporter.com is where you can get show notes and stuff. And if you're listening to this now, our next episode will release this Tuesday, so would love for you to swing by and listen to the history of Dragon Priest and how we go back in time a little bit.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. Tuesday, mark it on your calendars. The history of Dragon Priest on the Happy Hearthstone. Make sure you check it out. So, all right, guys.
And Dragon Priest is back.
That's right.
It really is.
Yeah. All right, guys. So if you have any questions or comments about the show or the deck that we played tonight, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com and let us know your thoughts. Do us a favor if you haven't done so already and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. Pro tip, it's usually every Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And for more details on our Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/heropower. And there you can get access to our patron-only Discord, where we are 24/7, usually theory crafting Hearthstone and talking about decks. And you can also get a chance to compete in the Hero Power Invitationals that we run quarterly. So go check it out. Again, that's patreon.com/heropower. And until next...
I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Of course you are.
We do have, I'm going to add something real fast, so take a drink, those that are playing the game at home. We did add a new $150 goal, so check it out over at patreon.com/heropower. We hope to hit that goal soon, and to find out more about it, please check that link out.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks to everybody in chat for joining us this week, and until next time, good gaming.
Bye.